welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic for today's second video, as the Kickstarter threatens to crash through $60,000, which is amazing. And as we get closer to releasing the solution video to the October Patreon reward content, Scott Strosahl's Pirate Puzzle Hunt, which I sense quite a few people are looking forward to seeing, to finding out how they could have gone about it, and to patting themselves on the back if they did finish it. We are still getting new finishers every day, so we don't want to stop them finding the treasure, to be fair. Anyway, this puzzle is from Doug Jellin, and it's another in his Mystery Sandwich series, which I quite like because it kind of plays with your sandwich expectations. So the basic rule of Mystery Sandwich is that the crusts of the sandwich are an unknown X and Y. They could be 1 and 2, 9 and 8, or any two numbers. So normally these sandwich clues outside the grid will tell you the sum of the digits between the 1 and the 9 in that column or row. But in Mystery Sandwich, they're between the X and the Y, and we have to discover what X and Y are. So there's also a killer element here with some cages which sum to the numbers shown. And importantly, let's not forget this one, there is a Knight's Move constraint. Knight's Move is very well worth keeping in the forefront of your mind, because you can't tell from the grid that there's a Knight's Move constraint, but it's often very important. So I will be trying to remember that myself. Do have a go at the puzzle on the link below the video before watching my solve, and I'm going to have a go now. So let's get cracking. And now, yeah, look, 2 8 cages and a 5 in the same box. Now, the way I look at that at first is to spot that the 5 can't be a 2-3 pair, because then you couldn't get 2 different 8 cages out of the 1 to 9 digits. You could get a 1-7, but the other one wouldn't work because it couldn't be 2-6 or 3-5. The slightly simpler way to see that, I think, is to see that these digits of these 3 cages add up to 21, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. And therefore 7 and 6 must be in those yellow cells, and therefore they must be in the 8 cages. So these must be a 1-7 and a 6-2 pair. What am I talking about? Sorry, that's complete nonsense. What I'm trying to say is that 9, 8 and 7 must be in those, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are in these cells. Now, that given, one of these 8s must be a 6-2, because 6 has to be in these yellow cells, and therefore the 5 cannot be 2, 3. That's probably the simpler way of looking at it. So 2, 3, 5 and 6 are in those 8 cages. Oh yeah, a very similar thing going on here. So it's obviously deliberate. These 4 cells add up to 29, and killer fans will know that 4 cells that add up to 29 in the same cage or box are 9, 8, 7 and 5. And 7 can't be in the 14 cage because it would need another 7, so it must be in the 15 cage. So we can actually fill their contents in. That gives us this cell here. Can't be 7 or 8 now, so we know it's a 9. And the first digit in the grid is not 1 in a cage, interestingly. Now, we've got a lovely 3 cage up here, amongst the very few cages we're given. And this grid is very appealing. There's so few clues, just 6 of these sandwich clues and 7 tiny little cages. But that 1-2 is very powerful because it rules 1-2 out of those cells, puts them up here. That means that we know that this cage is the 3-5. This one must be the 2-6. One of my neighbours has let his car alarm go off there. Let's hope it doesn't carry on. There we go. 3-4-6 as a triple down column 9 there. Now, probably time. I don't think this 17 is very helpful. 13 cage, I mean. Probably time to start thinking about the sandwich clues. So let's have a look at this bottom row. 36. That's quite a big number. if the crusts 1 to 9 obviously add up to 45. If the crusts are not part of the 36, the maximum they can be is 9. So they can't include a 9. They've clearly got to be very near or on the outside of this row to get digits adding up to 36 in between them. The only way those two could be 9 is 6 and 3. Oh yeah, and these are 8 and 7. They can't be used together with, like what I'm saying here is you've almost certainly got one crust on the end here because the 9 has to be in the sum. It can't be in the outies for the reason we worked out. Let's make that orange. So it must be in the sum. So the other crust has to be right somewhere near the end of this row. And it's got to be here because otherwise the crust is going to be 8 or 7. And we know that the crusts can't add up to more than 9. So this has to be the other crust. And all of these are non-crust. They must add up to 36. So these crusts must add up to 9. And now we know what they are. They're 6 and 3. So that's a good start. So the 6 goes with a 2 there. Right, now, where else? Okay, so I'm only going to colour, I think, the rows and columns with the sandwich clues in because there's not much point in the rest of the grid. That could be a 3 and be part of the crusts of that sandwich. Now here we've got, oh, look at 34. That's interesting. Even though we've got nothing in this column, actually we've got a green cell at the bottom. So that's not in the sandwich or the crusts. And given that the crusts add up to 9, we know they're 3 and 6, plus 34, that's 43. There's only 2 as outies as a total, and that's got to be here. So these cells are the 3 and 6. These cells in between I can colour green. Not that they really matter once I've done the 3 and 6. What about 21's quite a big number. And look, none of these have a potential 3 or 6. So 21's got to be enclosed in either 3 or 4 of these cells. Oh, and 31 here. Now that's, again, outies of 5. Oh, and look, okay, I wasn't going to colour in other columns green, but that is actually quite important because in column 9, given that the 6 is in one of those cells, the 3 is there, all of these are not in 3's and 6's. They can't be 3's and 6's is what I'm saying. Now that means that in this row, this is an outie. The outies total, 31 plus 9 is 40. The outies total 5. And the lowest number this can be is 5. So that's the whole of the outies in that row. We can colour in the 3 and 6 and put all the cells in between in green. 3 and 6 are in those cells. Oh, this one's obviously 3 and that one's 6. We can do that 5-3 pair as well now. And yes, this 21 clue, we worked out already that it was 3 or 4 cells. And look at all the greens in the column. These 3 have to be the sandwich. Those 2 cells have to be 3 and 6. In the top row, where we've got another clue, we've got the 2 crusts marked out. I don't know which they are, but I know they contain 7 between them. That is now a cell. So this is, I mean, effectively this 31 clue, the 36 clue, the 34 clue, they're all done. Once you know the outies, well, you know what the innies are going to be, but you don't know what order. We'll resolve that as we go along. Actually, I'll have a look at the 21 in a minute, but let's have a look at this 13 first. Now, with 3 and 6, how many cells? Can it be a 4-cell sandwich? 1, 2, 4, 5 are the smallest numbers. They add up to 12, but you can't use 6. The only way to make 13 with 4 numbers, not including a 3, is 1, 2, 4, 6, so that's not possible. So the sandwich has to either be 3 or 2 digits. So that's green now on the 13. That might help somehow. 6 is in one of these two cells. I don't know which. Now, I said I would come back to this 21 clue, which we haven't resolved. This could be made up of 984, 975, or 876. But it can't be 876 because 6 is in one of those two. And actually, it can't be 975 because of this cell. It would clash with that. So it must be a 984 triple. 6984. So now we can place 9 and 8 down here. And in this column, this must be part of a 1-2 pair. I think. Yeah, that feels right. Right, so what have we got in the final column? 7, 8, and 9 still to place. The top one can't be 7. Now that gives us an 8, 4, 9 triple at the top. 1, 2. Oh, 6. This has to be a 6. Oh, obviously, sorry. That 6 is saying that's 3 and 6. Sorry if you were waiting patiently or impatiently for me to resolve that. Got there. That 4 sorts out 1 and 4. Yeah, right. So 6, 4, 8, 9 triple, and 1, 2. These three are 3, 7, and 5. So the 3, 7 are a pair there. 5 at the top because of this 3, 7 here. Still all of 1, 4, 2, 8, and 9 to place in the top row. It's not very helpful. These are from 1, 2, and 4. Form a triple with that. That uses up the 4, so that's not a 4. Not that helpful. Crumbs, there's not a lot more to go on here. How are we meant to keep making progress? This 13 cage could still be 4, 9, 5, 8, or 8, 5. It could even be 7, 6 if the 6 is here in column 2. So that's not a lot of help. Oh, actually though, look, where does 3 go in box 1? Those two are ruling it out of all those cells. That one's ruling it out of there, and it can't be in the 13 cage, or it would need 10 here. And one of the knowledge bombs Simon has told you many times is you can't have a 10 in a Sudoku normally. So 3 and 7 go there. 7 and 7. So it's quite likely to be a 7-6 pair, but 7 could still be there. That doesn't quite resolve it. So this is going to be an interesting test of kind of working out possible sandwich values from scratch. I'm so familiar with the 1 to 9 sandwich values that I just don't know the possibilities here. Now, normally, what if this was a 2-cell 13? Well, it can't be 9, 4. So it could be 8, 5. It can't be 7, 6 because 6 is part of the crust. So if this was a 6 here, it would be 5, 8 in that order because of this 5. Then this would become a 7. Oh yeah, look at that. This would be 1, 4, and 2. And that's not going to work because what are you going to put here and here that's not 1, 4, 2, 3, 7, 6, or 5? Well, you could put 8 and 9 in those two cells, there and there, but they're definitely going to clash with that one. That's brilliant. I don't know if that's the intended route, but that is so clever. That proves this is not a 6. So forget that 6, 5, 8. Take out the 6 pencil mark. We can fill in 6 here. 6 is now a 3-cell sum. 13 is a 3-cell sum. I don't think I know how to do that. Ah, this is not 7, 6 now because of that 6. So the 7 in row 2 has to be here now. That's so neat. Lovely, lovely bit of logic there in this puzzle. Right, now this can still be 5, 8 though, or 4. No, hang on. Look at 5. 5 is ruled out from those cells in box 1, and by that now, from those cells. So 5 has to be in that 13 cage. It's lovely. 8's in one of those two. 8 must be down here. Oh my word, you know what I've forgotten? I said I mustn't forget it. How many minutes? 15 minutes in, that night restriction. I haven't used it. I've totally forgotten it at this point. What a moron. Okay, well, maybe it hasn't mattered all that much by now, although I feel I've had to do some very clever things that maybe I wouldn't have had to get this far. Not very clever, but you know what I mean. Now, 3 is seeing that cell by knight's move, so that's 7 or 8, and we can place 3 in this row. Oh, that's intriguing. Totally forgot the knight's move. It's happened before, it'll happen again, but it doesn't make it any more satisfying. Now, let's think again about this 13 sum. 13 there, plus 6 and 3 is 22, plus 9 is 31, plus 7 or 8 is 38 or 39. So these two add up to 7 or 6. Is that right? I think that's right. Let me just check that again. 13, 19, 22, 31, 38 or 9. Yes, these two add up to 7 or 6. So obviously that's a 5. And this is a 1 or a 2, making 9 with that one. So 4's in that group. Now, try and not forget the knight's move. Now, 2, though, has to be in one of these two cells. That's not that informative. There's probably some knight's move somewhere that's totally obvious. Right, well, this is just regular Sudoku. There's 4 3s looking into box 5, so I can fill in what is the last 3 in the grid straight away. 6. Oh yeah, look, 6 there, 6 there. So these are all ruled out, and by knight's move, those two are also ruled out. So the knight's move is suddenly very helpful. Now I've remembered it. Might have been very helpful before. 3, 6, 1, 4. So 6 is pretty much all done. All done. How about 5s? Because we've got quite a lot of them done. Don't think I can resolve those two even by knight's move, but I can resolve column 3 because of that 5. So 5 goes in there. That's seeing all of those cells. That one's ruled out by that 5, so the 5 in column 5 is there. And again, the knight's move, very useful there. That puts 5 here. That sorts out the 5-1 pair. That 1 looks up at that cell. So we can fill in 2s and 1s, get rid of the 1 possibility there. In fact, that 2 sees that cell. That 2 sees that one, just carries on up the grid. That 4 sees that cell, so 4 in box 3 is there. 2-9 pair here, just by regular Sudoku. 1, 4 and 8 to go in here, and I can't see reasons to sort those out yet. Ah, that 9 sees that cell, that's very handy. So 2 there, 1 there, a 4-9 pair here. 1-8 here. Again, can't see how the knight's move sorting that out. But 8 there has resolved the 7-8 pair down here. Actually, so did that 1, which had to make 9 with that cell. So 9 there. 2, 4, 7 triple here. Ah, yes, 2 there prevents that, 2 there prevents that. So 2 can go in, and 7 there sees that cell. So that 2, 4, 7 pair was very easy with the knight's move. 2 and a 4-8 pair there. That leaves us 9 and a 1-7 pair. Still some pairs to be resolved here. That's 4 or 8. That's 4 or 8 as well. That one I got from the column, this one from the row, and that 9. So 9 goes here. Actually, that was a write-in if I'd spotted it. 6, 3, 5, 7, 2. So the 1 in row 3 is here. That sees this cell by knight's move. I do think the knight's move was important here. Hopefully only when I remembered it, but that's unlikely. 9, 8, 4, 8. Of course, it could be one of those puzzles, a bit like yesterday, where the extra restriction helps but isn't actually vital, but I doubt it with this one. 4, 8, and I think that gets us to the end. That's a nice puzzle. Just the elegant sufficiency of information provided. Some very nice opening stuff with these cage totals in boxes 7 and 9, and the position of that 1, 2, which I thought was a very elegant start. But I hope you enjoyed that. Let us know how you got on with the puzzle as usual in the comments. Do subscribe or pledge to our Kickstarter or become a Patreon. All of those, all very welcome. You can do all 3, of course. And we'll hope to see you again next time on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.